I'm going to walk through the process of creating and customizing an eForm. The Advanced eForms S-Package file for this course installs the invoice attribute group. This group includes two attribute fields, vendor and invoice number. The package also includes a folder named Submit, which I'll use as the destination for my eForm. In the admin section, in eForms, you may see a list of any existing eForms for your account. I don't have any, but I want to create a new one, so I'll go to the Form menu and select Create. The default name is New Form. I'll select that, and I'm going to replace it with Invoice Submission. This name describes what my form will do. I'll open the Invoice attribute group, and I'll check both of those attributes. And then I'll click the Generate Sample Form link. This is a new form, so I'm not worried about anything being overwritten. And I'll click OK to dismiss that warning. And then the Form HTML box displays the generated code for my eForm. Right at the top, there's a warning not to modify any elements with the Spring CM tag. And examining the generated code, I see 5 of those. The first one contains a group ID, and then the remaining 4 are pairs, referencing the attributes that the eForm is based on. Any changes to these tags can break the form. I'll click the Preview button to look at the form that's generated by my attribute selections. And there are the 2 fields in a default layout, which is how the eForm will look to users. I'll click OK to close the preview. And then I'll click the Save button to save the generated form. To make this form work, I need to do a couple things. First, I need to pick a Submit folder. So I'll check my new form, I'll navigate to the Routing menu, and I'll select Set Submit Folder. Then I'll navigate to my Submit folder, which I already have selected here, and I'll click Select. Then I need to check the new form again, navigate to the Access menu, and then select Allow Submission. Finally, I can click the form name and view my form. And I'll enter some test information here. So let's say Acme Inc., and we'll just do an invoice number of 12345. I'll save that, and I can see the confirmation that my submitted form data was successfully saved. And then I can switch over to Documents, and I can open up my Submit folder, which is already open for me. Remember that the Submit folder is nested within the Admin folder. And here's the eForm I just submitted. And when I open it up, I see the form with the data that I entered. So it looks like the basic form is working the way I intended. I want to make one change to the form layout. I don't want the invoice number field to be displayed immediately. I want to keep it in the form, but I want it hidden to start with. I can do this by editing the eForm code. I'll click OK to close my submitted eForm, and then I'll click Admin and return to the eForms list. Remember that any changes to an eForm overwrite the previous version. So I'm going to create a copy here and work with that so I don't lose my existing code. I'll check the form name, I'll click Form, and then Edit. And then I'll click Save As, and I'll name the copy Invoice Submission-Customize. Click OK to save that. And now I'll select the new version. I'll click Form, and I'll click Edit. I'm going to start by adding some CSS. I'll define a class that will let me hide an element. So at the top of the file, underneath that warning comment, I'll add an opening style tag and then a closing style tag. And between those, I'm going to define .initial hide, and I'm using camel case here. And then I'm going to open a block, close that up. And on the blank line, I just want to specify display : none, semicolon. This defines a class called initial hide using camel case, and it sets the display setting to none for any element that specifies that initial hide class. Then down in the existing code, I need to reference that class name. And I'll do that in the opening TD tags for both the label and the field for invoice.invoice number. And so down here, I can see The second pair of tags is for invoice.invoice number. So in that first TD tag, after the D and before the closing chevron, I'm going to put a space, and I'm going to specify class equals double quotes initial hide. And remember, that's camel case. And then down in the next TD, I'm going to do the same thing, space, and then class equals double quotes initial hide, and end the quotes. So again, this is only in the opening tag, not in the closing TD tags. And I'm going to go ahead and save these changes. I need to select this form and allow submission again. So that's access and allow submission. And I also need to specify a submit folder. So I'm going to select the checkbox. I'm going to click routing, set submit folder. And I already have that admin submit folder selected here. So I'll click select. And now I have that submit folder selected. And now I can click the name of my new form to open it up. And now I have just the vendor field and its label displayed, but the invoice number field and its label are hidden to start. You can use this process to rearrange and add HTML elements and use CSS to customize eForms to achieve a required look and feel or to implement a specific use case.